Exactly 10 years ago, on June 30th, 2010, Notch released the very first version of Minecraft Alpha. From the vibrant green colors to pressing I to open your inventory, Alpha laid a great foundation for Minecraft's future. Obviously, a lot of things were different back in Alpha, and I'm going to be talking about these differences as well as the most significant features added during this stage. Before I get started, I want to emphasize how many times I've gotten a winter mode world. Obviously, things weren't nearly as developed and tested in Alpha as features that we see in more recent updates to Minecraft, but winter mode was awful. Basically, half of your worlds would generate with constant snow just falling from the sky, and you had no way of stopping it from falling. Now that I got that off my chest, it's finally time to start the history of Minecraft Alpha. Are you telling me there are two E's in the word secret? Gotta fix that. There we go. Secret Friday updates were a way for Notch to show and test new features added into the game for Minecraft's fanbase of about 20,000. Then he could receive feedback from those fans in order to modify those newly added features. Think about it like the snapshots that we see for Minecraft today. There were 9 Secret Friday updates in total and a Secret Saturday update. Yes, a Secret Saturday update. Personally, I think Notch couldn't finish the update in time and he decided to publish it on a Saturday instead of waiting an extra week. But then there's another weird thing going on since the first 2 Secret Friday updates were published during the imp dev stage of the game, but I'm still going to include them since Secret Friday updates were an overall huge aspect of Alpha. The very first Secret Friday update added minecarts and rails, offering the very first form of transportation in Minecraft besides just walking. Minecarts also had weird but really cool mechanics during the Alpha stage, and I'll definitely be talking about that later on in this video. The second Secret Friday update added dungeons, and dungeons were the very first natural structure that would generate in your Minecraft world. Also, can we talk about how many fucking mobs were in this cave? I didn't even know what spawner it was. There were 100 spiders, 100 skeletons, 100 creepers. And I can't forget that this update also added saddles into the game, which you were able to put on uncontrollable pigs. Why? Secret Friday Update 3, a very good update since it added the basic components of redstone. This included redstone dust, redstone torches, levers, pressure plates, and buttons. And I almost forgot about iron doors. I also can't forget the amazing mining speed of redstone ore. Nice! The fourth Secret Friday update, adding the infamous winter mode into Minecraft. Although I dislike it maybe a little too much, winter mode was important for adding a variety of different weather cycles into Minecraft. Winter mode was removed in a later alpha update and was re-added back into the game in beta 1.5 with a proper weather cycle. The fifth Secret Friday update added large trees that would generate randomly around your world, boats which allowed for the very first form of transportation on water, as well as cacti. Very large looking cacti. Look at how big it is compared to the sand block. Like, why? The sixth Secret Friday update. Oh man, I'm getting tired of Secret Friday updates. This update added sugarcane, the ability to milk cows, naturally spawning clay blocks that would drop clay balls, which would be smelted into bricks, which would then be crafted into a brick block, paper, books, and bookshelves, these strange creatures, and slime balls, which were useless at the time. The seventh Secret Friday update added jukeboxes, music discs, chests in a minecart, and a furnace in a minecart. By the way, who would ever use this? Wait, this update did have good features? Oh yeah, this update added chickens and eggs. The eighth Secret Friday update added fences with rather large hitboxes as well as spider jockeys. And I'm pretty certain that the spider jockey was the first rare mob variant in Minecraft. The ninth Secret Friday update only added compasses, mainly because Notch was focusing on multiplayer features during this update. And finally, the Secret Saturday update, which added the ability to crouch in Minecraft. Even though crouching was a big feature in Minecraft, Notch said that he wanted the biggest feature in this update to be the addition of proper biomes. However, he couldn't get the biomes working properly in time of this update. I think I should also note that in this update you were able to craft fishing rods. You were actually able to stack the fishing rods, but they were completely unusable. Wow, I guess I'm done with Secret Friday updates. There actually were significant updates in the alpha stage that weren't Secret Friday updates. Some worth mentioning include Alpha 1.0.5, which added the ability to dig snow for snowballs and then use those snowballs to craft snow blocks, as well as Alpha 1.0.8, which added leather and cows that had weird textures. However, there was one update that stood out the most in Alpha. Ooh, nice score. The Halloween update, also known as Alpha version 1.2.0, added a big feature, the Nether. I like to imagine how people reacted when they first entered the Nether and saw this for the very first time. It just looked and felt so different compared to everything else in Minecraft. And with the Nether came 3 new blocks, netherrack, soul sand, and glowstone, as well as 2 new mobs. The zombie pigman was the first neutral mob that would attack in groups, and they also used to drop cooked pork chops. Then you have the ghast that throws fireballs and makes annoying noises. Ooh, nice score. If you thought the Nether wasn't enough, they removed winter mode and added pumpkins that you could wear on your freaking face. Yes, now I can see absolutely nothing. Of course, with the pumpkins came jack-o'-lanterns. Biomes were added and changed the color of grass and leaves. And fishing was introduced. This is probably the greatest mechanic added into the game. And speaking of mechanics, wow, what an incredible transition. I'm only going to mention a few mechanics from Alpha because I wanted to do a separate video where I do a longer list of different mechanics. Anyways, the first old mechanic I'm going to be talking about are the old ladders. You were able to put 1 block gaps in between the ladders and still be able to climb them. That means you were able to jump up onto a ladder that was 3 blocks high. This mechanic was removed from Minecraft in beta 1.5, and at the time it was pretty well known within the community. The next mechanic that I'm going to be talking about involves minecarts, and this one is probably my favorite one. Basically, before powered rails were a thing, there was a way to boost your minecarts by putting 2 tracks parallel to each other. I'm pretty sure that this was a bug and that Notch initially wanted to use furnace minecarts to boost your tracks, but as you can see, it was a lot slower and less fun. This mechanic, like the ladders, was removed in beta 1.5, the same update that powered rails were introduced. The final mechanic that I'm going to be talking about involves the world spawn. No matter how many worlds you would create, you would always spawn on a sand block. This meant that you would likely spawn on a beach or in a desert. And yes, this does include sand blocks with snow on top of it. Now that I finished talking about the mechanics, it's time to move on to the final topic. Sounds and textures have changed drastically in Minecraft's history. There's the well-known old hurt sound. There were a lot of old sounds when walking and breaking different types of blocks. Sounds were also a lot different when jumping in water. Creeper and TNT explosions. Throwing an egg, a snowball, or casting a fishing rod. Arrows being shot, as well as doors opening and closing. And for texture changes, there were quite a few. Cobblestone, which looked pretty similar to the basalt from the Nether update snapshots. Chests and cacti looked wider. There used to be cheese in Minecraft. Gravel was different. Bricks were brighter. Furnaces had a stone top. Raw pork and cooked pork looked different, as well as bread, saplings, and leather armor. And for the last thing ever, roses were a thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. What? Wait, what?